Shalom family and friends, how is everybody? So we're getting to a point now where we have to talk about offended. So Yahushua said, I come to divide. I come to divide. It's a hard saying. But as we get to the end of this book, it talks about all nations, all tongues, living together. So that's a little bit confusing, right? When it's, as we can all see, especially with the West and other nations starting to take this thing up, this is not being done under the Most High. This is not being done in righteousness. This is not being done the right way. But yet it's been, the world powers are trying to replicate it. So it's not working. All nations, all tongues. As you see the rise of people wanting to keep their culture in their own country, their own domain, their own land, and this is being forced upon them. The difference between it is we're all under one God and one way. This is why it's a choice. They're trying to put all nations and all tongues together, but it's not under one nation. It's not under one way. It's not under one God. So this is causing offense. It's causing division. It's a choice. This is a hard conversation. It's hard for the big picture. We are all different. We all want different things. This is why the only way it's going to work is to be under one way and under one God. If I try to just talk about the Israelites, everyone else is going to feel left out. They're going to be offended, even though this is our history. No matter how people don't want it to be our history, people find it offensive. People don't actually want to live this way. If this book is true, which a lot of us do believe, none of that matters. It's going to happen anyway. So the offense doesn't matter. It's like us as immigrants being offended by the far right, as they say. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen. This is people in their own country seeing themselves being reduced, seeing people, their whole landscape and their whole culture, the whole identity being changed. And we have to try and empathize and understand that. Because any other nation would do the same, and this is what we're seeing. People can get offended by the way this is explained, the way people talk about this, but it's happening anyway, and people don't even realize that it's happening. The underlying sentiment. People are offended. They're upset. and the differences between people. This is how it works from the side of the evil spirits. We do not fight against flesh and blood, we fight against the spirits and principalities. This is how they work. They work on the weakness, the differences. And as you can see, as the scarcity, low wages, jobs, people being priced out of life, opportunities, it's all causing tensions. And it's dividing us. How can we possibly come together? With our history, family, as us in the diaspora, us as the descendants of slaves, us of African origin and heritage, to only talk about us is a threatening thing when you're in somebody else's country. If we are to come together, it's a threatening thing. Yet, it's important that we do. The differences. As you can see all throughout our history, we've been divided and conquered. This is what it all comes up to. But then, as we talk about black and brown people coming together, we are a minority. We suffer from institutional racism and blah blah blah. So with them trying to create all nations, all tongues in the world, it means they have to give us opportunities and open doors for us. But that's the problem with the scarcity. The people who originate in that country, they're trying to create a balance, and they don't want to see a balance, because you can't. If they're the majority of the people in that country, then they're going to see a lot of more of them people, their own people in their own country, have a lack of opportunities, and see us immigrants getting more opportunity in their countries, especially rising to high places. They get offended, divide. And then to talk about working class people all coming together to change the system. It's a threat to people who have it good under the system. It's a threat to people who are comfortable under the system. They realize the system, there's something wrong with the system. They're comfortable, they realize there's something wrong with the system, but they don't know what change means. So they stay out of it. But yet they can be used. Opportunities, scarcity, the differences. As you can see, many people are up in sticks and moving to other countries for opportunities, the freedom of movement, which doesn't seem to be available to everyone. And that's also where people, especially in Britain, especially in the English-speaking countries, they can up and move pretty much everywhere. Opportunities are open for them. I hope you're starting to understand what I'm trying to say. Then you have the political differences and the social differences with the left and the right, whatever that means, like, but you get the lefties, as they say, talking about socialism and Marxism and patriarchal systems and capitalism. But at the end of the day, these things only work if people let them work. And these things are very sophisticated. They work on people's greed. They work on people's vanity. You know, keeping up with the Joneses. YOLO and FOMO, and wanting to have the new things. Eating and drinking and making merry and going on holidays and living your best life. That's how it all works. We can all come up with ideas, but if people don't want things to change, and these are the people in power, the people who have it good, they're the important people. Like I was reading to you in Robespierre about the people who were able to have the silver mark. The silver mark. It was super silent. Whatever. It doesn't matter what we want. It's about the people who could pay the silver mark. That's how the system works. It works for them. So we're all running around in circles trying to do this, trying to do that, but it's futile. We have lived through times, the past 20 years, where everybody was fine, everybody was happy, people had jobs, everybody was having fun, partying and everything. Multicultural society, it didn't really matter. But as that's being increased, as that it's happening more and more, and people starting to see it. Plus the scarcity, the lack of jobs, losing jobs to AI and technology and machines, is causing a lot of tension, and I can't see it getting better. These people, they want their way. People are starting to realize and fight back against AI, but AI is being forced upon you because people have invested a lot of money into it and they want their returns, plus their plans for the future. It's essential. People don't want to believe that the population is going to reduce and something really sinister is upon us. They try to tell us, oh well, this always happens in industrial revolutions. People always fight against the machines. People lost jobs at the rise of mechanics, the rise of machinery. People lost jobs, but we forget, always at that same time there was war, and then immigration and war, and the rise of mechanics and machinery, and the loss of jobs. All those things at the same time. So it leaves a question, when they know a lot of people are going to have jobs and there's going to be unrest, and they haven't replaced the jobs yet. War is the reason to get rid of hundreds of thousands of men in many countries. It's a reoccurring pattern. So, the same day, let's go and read 13. The same day went Yeshua out of the house and sat by the seaside. and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore, and spake many things unto him. And he spoke in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where there had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no depth in the earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had not root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. How do we plant good seed on good ground so that we can bring forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold? How could we do this? And you have to ask, who and what is stopping us? Our differences, the scarcity, opportunities, who hath ears, let him hear. Now, all of us, we know this is talking about the word. Not everybody likes the word. People hate the word. As Yahusha said, division is going to cause divide. It gets to the point where we understand what's happening, so we're not going to vote. People get offended by what I said about how the wicked and the righteous have something in common. We understand humanity. People don't want to be blamed. But this is where the wicked, they use it. The differences. We're not all on the same page, so we're never going to get out of it. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And if you exacerbate the situation, it's going to keep getting worse and keep getting worse until it explodes. This is what keeps our eye off them and on each other. But then we've got our eye on each other. It's not going to stop from what's coming. I've had dreams about this, and it's not nice. There's been plenty of movies about this. And history is about this. This thing is inevitable. Ignoring it and getting upset with people. And hating the people who care. Hating the people who are trying to teach and trying to get some sort of plea to the humanity in all of us. It really is quite something. It really is quite something. And if you think about the future of what this book says, people might think, no, people won't do that. People won't do that. But what is it that makes us hate each other with the word? What is it that makes these people hate the word? When you're a peaceful person, you're not talking about war. You're not talking about hurting people, because those times are over. This is what the Old Testament's all about. How do we sow seed in good ground and receive hundredfold? And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he said to them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them is not given. The disciples are walking with Yahushua. Show and tell, learn, understand. Can you see? This kingdom is divided. It's going to fall. It's going to be in chaos soon. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more in abundance. But so whosoever hath not, for him shall be taken away, even that he hath. The Pharisees, they should have been watching the prophecies. They should have been able to recognize especially as the repeat over history. It's talking about the Israelites straying from their way. And what happens every time the prophets try to warn of this? And it happened. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be an Israelite. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be Hebrew. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be Christian. None of that matters. You are who you are. You see, Christians can walk away from the faith, but you are who you are as a Hebrew. It doesn't matter. And the day get offended with brothers, Hebrew Israelite brothers, you can hate us all you want. It's not going to change anything. It's still going to happen. We are not against you. We are patient with you. We don't hate you. We understand that some of you are young. We were young. We're patiently waiting for you. We understand how hard this is. But we have a sense of duty now. Please don't hate us for this. We have a sense of duty now. The Pharisees, they had a sense of duty. And they didn't do. They had worldly cares. So because they weren't doing their job. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even what he has. And that was the end of the priesthood. That was the final end of the priesthood. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You have despised knowledge. You have rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim. I will also forget thy children. Isaiah 5:13. As they are increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore I will change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. Our sins and our iniquity is big business. Is big business. As the people, Christians should understand this because we're the ones reading this. Priests, pastors, we are the ones reading this. We have a duty. And there shall be, like people, like priests. I will punish them for their ways and reward them for their doings. Because of the state of things, it doesn't mean I'm going to adjust my preachings and start prophesying sweet things and say everything's going to be okay. That's going to get me into trouble. Therefore, I speak to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which say, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and not perceive. We're trying to tell you things, but you can't see it. We can't prophesy sweet things and tell you everything's going to be okay, because it's not. It's not. Yahusha said, there is no peace. And as you can see, take a good look at the world. All their plans are backfiring, no matter what they do, because they're trying to push for their vision of the world, the way they want things. They don't want this to come to pass. So the more that they try to work against it, the worse things are getting. If you don't believe in wicked spirits taking over people, then why are you angry? And why do you come against the people who are trying to get you to understand. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their eyes are dull of hearing. Their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they at any time should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. I know people aren't genuinely wicked and evil. They're just born in this world. This is how the world is. And just like me and many others, we didn't see this when we were young. We ignored it, but we never had hatred towards our elders. It's the way of the world. And asking people to step back and come out of that is a very hard thing, because it doesn't make sense. And it's even harder to do. But what I don't want for you is you're 21, 22, 23 right now, to get to our stage 20 years later and realize, and be in the exact same state I am, where I'm like, do you know what? F this world. And when I look back, I can see how this lifestyle they have used against me. And I have to look at myself for that. This is why I say I wish I had come into this truth 20 years ago. Some people are genuinely wicked, but it's just the way of the world. It's life now. It's big business. And it's about to get more concentrated than that. As you can see, they're saying that alternative work, being an influencer. There are trades which we will always need, being a plumber, being a carpenter, electrician, gas installation. But then that provides scarcity for those industries. Having even more plumbers, and having even more carpenters, and having even more electricians creates scarcity in that profession. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. They're walking with Yahusha. He's showing them. He's telling them. He's explaining. He's walking, talking scriptures. They grew up on scriptures. They're not the best with the scriptures. But the people with the titles and the uniforms, who's supposed to be good with the scriptures, they couldn't see it because they were adapting to worldly ways. They were living comfortable. They were comfortable. Life was good for them. They weren't struggling. Verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. The prophets were waiting for this day when Yahusha would come. They were waiting for the Messiah. They never got to see it. It wasn't for their time. Second Esdras 4 and 5 is a very detailed explanation of how people feel in this book when they understand, when they have a relationship with the Most High, when they understand the history of their nation, how frustrating it is. And you hear Ezra asking, why? Even Ezra, all the prophets feel that this isn't fair. But that's our human understanding, our worldly understanding. It doesn't matter. God has a vision and a purpose and a promise. It's about whether you believe or not. And the question I'm asking right now is, why is it okay for some people to believe, but it's not okay for me to believe? And then you notice the difference in the determination, the zeal, the contending for the faith, the fruits, and the difference between doctrines. This is Matthew 13. The stages of your faith. This helped me see the stages of my faith. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart, which is he which receiveth the seed by the wayside. This word doesn't make sense to a lot of people. It doesn't make sense. People think it's evil. And people think, why? It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And so it's easy for somebody to steal it out of your heart, for somebody to say it's evil, for somebody to say, the people who are obsessed with miracles, basically, to say, oh, what you believe, some guy's going to come out of the sky and save us all. Like I've always said, I don't need the miracles. The word, the truth of this word, and our history, that's what makes me believe. This is why the summary of this parable about the wicked one sowing seeds. All this time, it hasn't been believable, especially for us Israelites, because it's never made sense. But when you look at this book from the viewpoint of our history, it makes sense. Prophecies come alive, and people don't want that. Offended because the sowing of the seeds, the tares were set in centuries ago. A long time ago, everybody knew We were the Israelites. This is our book and our faith. It was changed. So taking it back and holding on to this faith and trying to explain to your brothers and sisters that this is ours now. This is who you are. Offensive. Tensions. The wicked spirits can work on that. Divided. Brother against brother. Daughter against mother. Children against their parents. Race against race. And it's not supposed to be that way. This is why people hate this. They want to get rid of this when this is the way. But the devil has done a magnificent job in making this look bad. Hear therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart, that which he received by the wayside. But he that receiveth the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word and receive it with joy. Yet he hath not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation and persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended, and he falls away. This is what I mean where I talk about, I just said a few minutes ago, how some people it's fine to be in this faith, but others it's not. The division, the work that's been done. People are offended, and people straight up hate this word because it's about a world without sins and certain behaviors. But if we're both in the same faith, why is it not okay for me? It's the doctrine. That's not okay. Various people around the world are fighting to keep their culture, their ways. Their ways are Christian ways, great. But if that doesn't mix with the Hebrew way, is it biblical? It's something you can't get people to understand because they'll get offended. But yet I can understand what they're fighting for. And like I said, I'm offended because I don't understand. How can we all be on the same faith? Yet the persecution seems to be different, evident throughout history. Because we are who we are. We can't walk away from this. And I have not fallen away. which leaves the question, why do people really want us to fall away from this faith and not to follow it? Because what I see, without saying too much, I'm re-recording this video because I realized I said too much. And I had a very good think this morning. Offended. People see it. People see it. But the more you drum these things in, you will realize how you're feeding the madness. And that's a promise I made months ago. I'm stepping away from feeding the madness. But this is what I see. This is what's going to happen when we get closer to the end. It's the persecution that's going to make you fall away. It's fair enough if you don't want it, you don't like this, you don't agree with this, but don't get involved in the persecution. Because if this thing was, when this thing starts to play out and then you start believing, who can help you if you're already marked for destruction because you got involved in the persecution? Because you thought this was evil. This is the political division between the left and the right. And this is where you get the pandering of the left towards the black community. That's offensive, isn't it? Because the left seems to be championing for the rights. It's confusing. Division. He also that receiveth seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. The scarcity, the opportunities, having everything taken away from you. And in the end, you can't buy or sell unless you have this mark. And we all know what the mark means, what it is. There's a spiritual side to this, and I was saving this for later, but let me just say it. In Deuteronomy, it says, you will put no stranger as king above you. The prophets were waiting for the Messiah. He is the king of the nation. As it says here, many righteous men and prophets have waited to see the things that you see. So Yahusha is here now. They didn't get it. It's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. By the abundance of your the heart the mouth speaketh. What did these guys do? Remember, crucify him, crucify him. We have no king but Caesar. When in the law, in Deuteronomy, it says no stranger is to be your king. and they actually spoke it and they declared it against the real king and said, crucify him, we have no king but Caesar. This is what the mark of the beast is. If you take that mark of the beast, that's it. That's the final test. The separation has already begun. And we have patience. When things get real, we're here for you. But the question you need to ask is it going to be too late when things get real? All this hate and all this unbelief, it does not matter. If it's not real, if it's fake, if it's just a silly religion, then we're idiots, aren't we? We're stupid. It's not going to happen. We're delusional. Why hate someone who's delusional? Does that affect anything in anyone's life if this thing isn't real? It's like people who believe in horoscopes and tarot cards. None of it bothers me. Because I don't believe that stuff's real. Even if someone were to say, oh, my horoscope came true, and I was to see it, they were to show me a newspaper from last week which said this, and then they could prove that it actually happened. Because at the end of the day, I could see that horoscope is about you and what time of year you were born. There are millions of people on this earth were born in that time of year, so obviously that horoscope is going to be true. To someone. And that's why we come into this truth, because this was spoken about a whole nation of people. And here we are. But he that receiveth the seed in good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Another parable he put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which soweth seed in his field. Excuse me. So he's going over the same parable, but it's getting in more detail every time. So this parable, he's talking about the word and the way. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed into his field. But while he slept, that's what slavery was for us. We were sleeping. That's what made us forget. Yes, it was brutal. It preserved us. Us today, we didn't live it. We didn't suffer it. For us today is the kingdom to come, and for our children and our grandchildren. Why are you so upset? While he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So Yahushua trained his disciples and sent them out into the world to preach. Once they were dead, while they slept, a whole new, the Roman Catholicism was born, basically. And then all the other denominations over time. And then eventually they changed the people. So I can understand why people are offended, because their whole understanding is changing. But I don't understand why the people who this word is for are offended. It's not going to change nothing. Don't get involved in the persecution. Don't speak out, because when it does unfold, who can help you? So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? And he said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Isaiah 60, 4 and 5. Isaiah 66 and 20. You don't want to be amongst the tares when gathered up. You have to ask, is it going to be... It's not going to be so much the word. The word is here to teach you, to guide you. It's there to make you worthy and acceptable. When these crazy times come upon us, you are who you are. If we go back in history, the sad truth is that people did sell their own people into slavery. They were a different nation, but they were their own people. A different nation, but still the same people. They helped put people into slavery. But then, as the centuries passed, they suffered at the same hands of the people who they aligned with, the people who gave them money. They suffered at the hands of the people who they were aligned with. They suffered at the people who gave them riches for selling them another people. Another parable put forth, and that springs to mind. He who lead into captivity shall go into captivity. That's Revelations 13:10, right? What am I reading? Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a grain of mustard seed. I already showed this to you. That tiny little seed I had on my fingertip at the beginning. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge their branches thereof. This is why I'm not afraid to live how I'm living. Because I know the Most High has my back. Number one, as an Israelite. And number two, as a Christian. And number three, as a working class person. As the poor. I know this word is for us. And he's promised the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, the greatest is the greatest among homes and becomes a tree. Read Isaiah 60, 21 and 22. A parable he spake unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven. So leaven is a good thing now. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Leaven is a good thing. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. The right doctrine, the right understanding, all things spake Yahusha unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable he spake not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was written by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Yahusha sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of tares of the field. And he said unto them, so the multitude went away, and the disciples are asking for deeper explanation. Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. These disciples, they're walking with him for years. Other people are only getting to meet him once or twice and spend, an hour or 2 with him. The disciples are living and walking with him. It's not about what's happening now. It's about once they've finished their training, and about what's going to happen afterwards. He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the word, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who are the children of the kingdom? It's being very specific about a nation. The quote before, Many will come from the east and many will come from the west, but the children of the kingdom will be cast into outer darkness. He's obviously talking about a specific nation. All throughout the book, he's talking about a specific nation. What has happened to them all throughout the ages. This is what nobody wants to talk about. And when you talk about it, offended. It causes division. Nobody wants division. But division is happening anyway. And you're not on your home soil. You're far from home. And you're a minority. We are for you. We are family. We are speaking for you. It doesn't matter. You are who you are. People don't like the fact that you're the children of the kingdom. That's what our whole history has been about. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. We're getting to that point again where the abomination of desolation is rising. Because they know the kingdom of heaven is nigh. And you are the children of the kingdom. So choose. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that have sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. These few paragraphs, Matthew 13:37 to 40, is explaining Revelation 9 to 16. You can get a whole picture just from a few verses. And then it's explained in detail in chapters. We understand that people don't have the eyes to see and don't have the ears to hear. But why attack the people who are trying? If you're conspiracy minded, look how everybody's loves conspiracy theories. Everybody's interested in conspiracy theory. Be a conspiracy theorist was not fashionable 10, 20 years ago. But yet the things that they said are playing out right in front of our eyes, or they've played out in the last 10 years. Have they not? And there are still more to come. But people were hated for being conspiracy theorists, for talking about these things. People died for the truth. But to the multitudes, it was madness. It was nonsense. It didn't matter if they don't believe. Over time, it's become fact. As therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Not weeping, wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all he hath, and buyeth that field. We found our way home. It's hidden from the wicked. We know the way to get there. So it doesn't matter what you take away from us. He go and selleth all that he have, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant who seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and brought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net, which is cast into the sea, and gather of every kind. Which when it's full, they drew to shore and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. See, people understand that you are who you are, and you're more likely to get to this kingdom than they are. Because of who you are. There's extra lenience for you because of the history, because of what we've been through, because of the promise, because of the contract. There are many Christians across the earth who are binding into this contract. They're going to make it. This is why I say family and friends. And we're all going to be gathered into the net. That's that extra lenience for you. That's the wilderness experience. And they sat down and gathered the good into a vessel, but cast the bad away. We're trying to prepare you for that time. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels came forth and severed the wicked from among the just. Severed the wicked from among the just. See, there are a lot of people who don't have the understanding. Pre-tribulation rapture is not before the tribulation. Everyone has to be tested. Severing the wicked from among the just. Because the Most High wants to show the difference between his people, his beloved, and those who reject this. And special plans for the wicked, the enemies of Yahuwah. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And Yahushua said unto them, have ye understood all these things? They said unto him, Yea, Adonai. Then he said unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things of old and things of new. Old Testament, New Testament, history, what's happening right now. And it came to pass that when Yahushua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he came into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? Is this not the carpenter's son, Joseph? Is this not Joseph's son? Is this not the son of Mary? And his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence has this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Yahushua said unto them, A prophet is not without honour, save in his own country, and in his own house. And he did not many works there because of their unbelief. 1 Samuel 10. If you remember John, we were talking about John. What did you come to see? People didn't expect. Nobody gets to choose what happens. The book says certain things will happen. Like I said, I don't even really like to talk about miracles because it's not the miracles that should make you repent. But people get upset because they think you're searching for greatness, delusions of grandeur and all of this. No. The simple thing is, I'm reading this book and I understand. I see what all this behavior and all this stuff has an effect on humanity. It's just about righteousness. And if that's the way you enter the kingdom, then great. People like to focus on miracles and all this thing too much. It is to be talked about. But if you're a believer and you're keeping the ways and you're the beloved, these gifts are to be given unto these people. We can't choose. You're lining up. It's like, in a worldly sense, people talk about honours and medals. But if you're not in the army, you cannot win a Victoria Cross, a Silver Star. If you're not in the army, you can't win these things. You don't join the army to win the Victoria Cross, the Silver Star, all these medals of honor. It's what happens. So people question John, the hierarchy, the men in titles and uniforms. Nobody respected John, but yet the people understood John. I've read it to you just recently. All these things, John did no miracles, but all these things he said have come to pass. All these things they said about Yahusha have come to pass. Yahusha arrives on the scene. People are like, who is this guy? He chooses his own men. He doesn't choose from the Pharisees, from the scribes, from the priests. And his closest family members and friends were offended in him. Go all the way back to the first king. And it came to pass, when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said to one another, what is this that is come unto the son of Kish? Is Saul among the prophets? And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb, is Saul among the prophets? I totally understand that being able to make this believable is offending people and upsetting people and making people scared. It does not matter. It's happening. The big mistake people made in this book is going after the people who try to warn you. If something big is coming, don't you want to know that it's coming? Or would you rather it crept up on you on surprise? How can you save yourself from this thing if you don't know it's coming? If you don't believe it's coming? I know all the damage that's been done, because when people talk about the end times, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Many people use that as ammunition against the faith. Oh, they said that then, they said that then. People have always been saying this is the end times. But the difference is, all things must come to pass. People talk about the love of Jesus. Oh, but do you have the love of Jesus though? Can't you see it in the book? Can't you see it in the book? He knew what he had to do. It just hadn't been done yet. He was doing it. And people condemned themselves by attacking him while he was doing it. And then on the cross, he said, it is finished. It is done. There was no way back for those people. They had already condemned themselves. And the whole hierarchy, the whole organization the Pharisees, the priests, the scribes, the Sadducees, the very men who were supposed to see it, supposed to recognize it, because they were offended and they had influence over the people. But then there was people who were fine. They weren't troubled by the hierarchy of the temple, the Pharisees. They weren't troubled by it because they could get on with their worshipping under every green tree. They're burning incense to other gods. Why? Because the abomination of desolation was occupying them. First the Greeks, then the Romans. So it was normal. The love of Jesus, people say. People didn't see what Jesus was doing. People didn't see what the prophets were doing. He was doing it at the time, what he had to do. But people were offended.